Okay, so this Panther video covers the installation of the Hull mount machine gun. So you're going to need a small amount of modeling clay or plasticine. I'd say the best way to judge is to make a sphere and then make sure that it's 4 millimeters wide. You don't want it any larger than that, or it won't look quite right. It'll be a bit big. So a conservative 4 millimeters. It's a little bit hard to judge, just because it's hard to make a perfect sphere, and then it's hard to see exactly where the edges are. But just in general, about 4 millimeters. Then just flatten it into a half sphere, sort of on your tabletop, in preparation. And you want to take a little bit of glue. It doesn't really matter what strength the glue is. Could be really any strength. Full strength glue works, as does 4 to 1, 2 to 1 even. I wouldn't recommend it, but you could use it probably. You just want to put a thin layer over the picture on the front of the hull front. On the hull front, where the machine gun is mounted. Just a little bit there to make it a bit tacky so that this sticks to it rather than just falls off. And then just place that half sphere onto the cymbal, right about in the middle. And now we're going to just work it, carefully rounding it gently until it covers evenly as we can the entire blue cymbal circle there. And a good way to finish it off is to take a bamboo skewer or a round toothpick. Just kind of smooth down the edges. Now if you're using slightly older modeling clay, or cheap modeling clay, it will sometimes have a bit of a problem, and you'll sort of crack a little bit as you're trying to make it. It doesn't bond to itself very well when it gets old. We'll cover that when we put on a layer of nail polish to harden it. So this will be, if you put on a couple layers of nail polish, it'll be very hard, which actually surprisingly hard. So once you've got it sort of semi in the right position, you don't have to, or semi in the right shape, you don't have to remove every little defect. As I said, the nail polish will do a lot of that for you. So just take some, now you can do this with glue. It doesn't quite work as well, it doesn't make it as hard. It takes longer to dry and doesn't remove blemishes quite as nicely. So I really recommend using nail polish. It smells bad, but it is a much better hardener. You could use lots of layers of glue. It would take a while, but it is possible to do it that way. So try to get some nail polish all the way around where it touches the hull. Just, it'll bond the plasticine or the modeling clay onto there so it doesn't come off later. And it's tough to smooth it down right where it touches the hull, and that does a good job of that. So let that dry. Apply another layer of that. And when that's done, just take a pen or needle and poke a small hole right in the front. Sort of waggle the needle around until it's a little bit larger. But you don't want to damage the ball turret when you're doing that. And then we're going to take a piece of bamboo skewer here, and we're just going to cut off a small section of it. Very small, like probably 4 or 5 millimeters long. And you can do this with cardboard as well, but I do like to use wood. It's a little bit more durable and easier to get a round piece. So I'd start with a triangular piece, then kind of just shave off the edges to make it a bit more rounded. You want a fairly small, thin thing. So just making the machine gun that pushes out of there. Now when you put glue on this later, it will round it more, so you don't have to have it perfect. It's not like the main gun where you got to spend a lot of time actually trying to make sure it looks perfectly round. Just put a few layers of glue on top, and it'll get rid of most of the edges and defects. So once you've got something that you're fairly happy with, just insert it into that small hole. Oh, use a little glue first. Try not to damage the bottom clay when you insert this. And then, there we go. And later, when you're covering the whole model in hardener, you'll get a bit more hardener on this. And that will round the gun, the machine gun that comes out of there nicely. And there is the installation of the machine gun.